Part two of this wilderness season is temporary. I have been in the comments because I have been getting nonstop comments from the last video. And that's telling me that there are still more questions surrounding being in the wilderness. Giving more context to that video, your wilderness season is indeed a preparation. It is a space in time, a period of time, a season. A season is temporary, it does not last forever. Now, how you react in the wilderness has everything to do with how much can be purged, how much you can be prepared for your next. When we're in a wilderness season, some of us, and this was my experience, we think we're going crazy, we think we're being punished, we think we have come to the end of ourselves, and it definitely feels like that. But what that period of time in your life is really doing, it is freeing you from the previous years that you have lived, from the mindsets from those years, from the experiences, from the emotions. It allows you to assess things. Now, what humans have a tendency of doing is doing. And I know it sounds like the most counterintuitive thing to do in a wilderness season where nothing seems to be going right is to sit down and be quiet. That makes absolutely no sense. It didn't make sense for me during it, but in hindsight, I see, right? And so there was one comment that was asking me very specific questions that were detailed to my life experience, which I'm not going to answer because my life is not your life. The insight that I will give is, or the advice that I gave was the counterintuitive way of sitting down and listening to God, talking to God, letting God speak to you, giving God a pathway to communicate to you. If you're always doing, going, you're not going to hear God. And God may be trying so hard to get to you. But if you are constantly distracted, you will not hear. Okay. So there's that. Um, and the other side of it, it allows you to function using your spiritual gifts. And I know when I first started hearing about spiritual gifts, my ears would perk up because I was like, "Oh, what's that mean?" And it sounds great. It does sound great, and it's a beautiful thing to know, and it is necessary to know, in my opinion. But what comes out of it? Because you figure if you don't go through any purging process or any preparation process, you will be carrying the old, trying to operate in the gifting, which the gifting is meant to serve other people. Let's get that straight. Your gifting is not for you. Okay, it's not gifts, it's gifts. So, learning that one of your gifts, let's say, might be service or craftsmanship or leadership, that's not for you. That's for other people, that's for God's people. Those are the gifts that God born you with, right? That in a lot of ways have been lying dormant. So you figure the wilderness season is the period of time and the bridge taking you from your old into your new, where your spiritual calling and destiny will be activated. The password, so to speak, is that bridge, that period of time. You cannot serve someone fully in your spiritual gifts with a clean heart unless you are healed. And keep in mind, healing is an ongoing process. You will not ever be fully healed. That is a perfect person, and you and I do not qualify. So the healing is continual. However, there is a level of healing that is required to stand on business and to stand on spiritual gifts so that you can serve, that you can operate within the realm that you were sent here to operate within. So we despise the wilderness because it is painful. Don't get me wrong. It is confusing, it is painful. You feel like you're going crazy. Um, I got to the point where I just had to speak to one other person to tell me I wasn't going crazy. Like I just needed one person to be like, Mia, you're just going through the process. That's all I needed because I thought I was headed to an asylum. Like, and some people may reference it as the dark night of the soul. You're coming to the end of yourself, right? There are all these periods of time in someone's life where everything that they thought is not, everyone that they knew is no longer, and you're being called to new levels. And you have to know that where you're headed, it might be quite lonely. It won't forever be quite lonely, but not everybody answers the call. Not everybody is willing to go through the wilderness. Some people will prolong the wilderness. Israelites, y'all wasn't supposed to be there for 40 years. Y'all did too much, right? They complained in the wilderness without trusting God, without trusting the provision that came. Now I can tell you, during my wilderness, I couldn't have a dollar if I drew it on a piece of paper, but God kept me. So you have to know, you just have to know that this is part of your process. You are a called one. Simple as that. You are a called one. And it's not going to be easy for called ones. It's not easy. It is what it is. Um, you have to be stripped. You have to be purged. You have to be rewired. You have to be reset, right? With the knowledge of what you've gone through and what you've lived through. But there can be no emotional attachment. There can be no resentment. There can be no anger and hatred because that will block your ability to truly operate in what and how you're supposed to be operating in this new season you're going into. That's just the formula. That is what this is. So, trust that you will be able to look back and be like, wow, one, God really had his hand on me. Two, I had so much stuff to heal from that you just don't even realize. Um, and give God praise. Don't stop praising God. Don't stop thanking God. It will not last forever. Like the other video said, this is temporary. It is temporary. Do not turn into the Israelites. Don't turn into them. Keep going. Keep going. I had no plans of making this video today, but those comments, it's so many comments, it's so many people going through this. And it's exciting because what that says to me is that the more and more and more people are being called into their real purpose, their spiritual purpose, their spiritual destiny. That is exciting. So it is up to the people to one, understand that, to know that, to accept that, and to be obedient to how you're being called. There is so much darkness on this planet. There's so much. So to see that so many people are being stripped and worked on and developed and taken higher, I'm excited. I know it's painful. I'm not downplaying that. But I'm giving you this message to let you know you are right where you're supposed to be. Okay? So, and I have some things coming down the pipe next month. I will be dropping something that actually was given to me during my wilderness season as a result of it. And I'm praying that it really helps people because I know how murky and how confusing that time period can be, but also how on fire you come out of it on. Like you come out of the wilderness season on fire, right? And so you're seeking and you're looking and you're wanting to know truth and you're wanting to get closer to God and you want to be sharp, all these things. So, what I'm launching, what I'm dropping, I really pray blesses people. I will be sure to let you guys know. And I also joined Faithia app, and I offer one-on-one calls. So if you are interested in a one-on-one call, you can book me through the Faithia app. All that to say, you are right where you're supposed to be. You are, I know it might be hard, but I will offer to you that you should get excited. I will offer to you that you can start praying for God to bring the right people to you who are one also being taken to their next, who are one also being stripped of their old, who are also have the capacity to walk with you, who will understand this new season of your life, who do not judge you by who you used to be, and who can see you as God sees you. I would offer that you pray that. All right. So I hope that this helped. And we'll see if I'm back with a part three. But for now, take care. Bye.